Sasquatch, also known as Bigfoot, is one of North America's most enduring legends. For decades, countless individuals have reported encounters with this elusive creature, often describing it as a large, ape-like being covered in hair, roaming the dense forests and remote wilderness. While most sightings describe the creature's physical appearance and tracks, one peculiar behavior stands out in many reports: the alleged throwing of rocks at people. This article explores this curious phenomenon and highlights 10 notable accounts, including reports from soldiers during the Vietnam War involving similar creatures known as rock apes, the phenomenon of rock throwing. Reports of Sasquatch hurling rocks at humans have been documented across North America, from the Pacific Northwest to the remote woods of the Appalachian Mountains. Rock throwing is considered by some to be a form of communication or warning from the creature, perhaps a way to intimidate or drive away perceived intruders. In many cases, the rocks are thrown with remarkable accuracy, often landing near but not directly striking the individuals involved. This behavior is not exclusive to Sasquatch. Similar accounts have been reported in other parts of the world involving creatures like the yowie in Australia and the yeti in the Himalayas. However, the phenomenon in North America has garnered significant attention due to the sheer number of reports and the credibility of some witnesses. Famous accounts of rock throwing. The Ape Canyon Incident, 1924. One of the most famous early accounts of rock throwing occurred near Mount St. Helens in Washington state. A group of miners claimed they were attacked by multiple Sasquatch-like creatures that bombarded their cabin with rocks throughout the night. The miners described the creatures as large and hairy, and the incident became widely known as the Ape Canyon Encounter. The Ruby Creek Incident back in 1941. Near Ruby Creek, British Columbia, a family reported seeing a large Sasquatch approach their home. As they fled, they claimed the creature threw rocks at them, though no one was injured. The incident left a lasting impression on the local community, and the site has been the subject of much speculation ever since. The Mount Rainier Expedition, 1967. During an expedition on Mount Rainier, a group of climbers reported having rocks thrown at them from an unseen source. Despite searching the area, they could not identify the source of the projectiles, leading them to believe a Sasquatch was responsible. The Marble Mountain Encounter, 2000. While on a camping trip in Northern California, a youth group leader filmed what he believed to be a Sasquatch on a nearby ridge. Shortly after, the group reported that rocks were being thrown towards their campsite. The footage remains one of the more controversial pieces of evidence in the Sasquatch mystery. The Battle of Ape Canyon, 1970. Although less well known than the 1924 incident, this later event involved a group of campers in the same area. They reported being harassed by rock throwing throughout the night. Unlike the earlier event, no visual sightings of the creatures were reported, but the similarities in behavior were striking. Vietnam War, the Rock Apes, 1966. During the Vietnam War, American soldiers reported encounters with mysterious bipedal creatures known as rock apes or batutut in the jungles of Vietnam. These creatures were described as small, hairy hominids and were known for throwing rocks at soldiers. Multiple accounts from different platoons corroborated these stories, though the creatures were never officially documented. The Washington State Encounter, 1988. A hiker near the Olympic Peninsula reported a close encounter with a Sasquatch. After seeing the creature, he attempted to take a photograph, at which point the Sasquatch allegedly began throwing rocks in his direction. The hiker escaped unharmed but was shaken by the experience. The Ohio Grassman Incident of 2002. In Ohio, a group of Bigfoot enthusiasts claimed to have been pelted with rocks during an overnight expedition in Salt Fork State Park. They described hearing loud grunts and movements in the nearby woods before the rock throwing began. The incident added to the lore of the Grassman, a local Sasquatch-like creature. The Mogollon Monster Encounter, 2009. In Arizona, campers near the Mogollon Rim reported being harassed by a creature throwing rocks at their campsite. The witnesses described hearing strange vocalizations before the rocks started to rain down, leading them to believe they had encountered the Mogollon Monster, a regional variant of Sasquatch. The Blue Mountains Incident, 2014. In the Blue Mountains of Oregon, a group of researchers from the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization, or BFRO, experienced a barrage of rocks being thrown toward their camp. Despite extensive searching, they could not locate the source, though they found large footprints nearby. The incident was documented in one of the BFRO's reports, adding credibility to the claim. The phenomenon of rock throwing by Sasquatch remains one of the more puzzling aspects of the legend. Some researchers speculate that the behavior may be a form of territorial defense, while others suggest it could be a way for the creature to communicate or assert dominance. Skeptics argue that such incidents could be the result of misidentifications, pranks, or natural causes like falling rocks or animal activity. However, the consistency of reports across different regions and time periods adds a layer of intrigue to the mystery. Whether these accounts represent a real behavior of an undiscovered species or are simply part of folklore, they continue to captivate the imagination of those who study the Sasquatch phenomenon. The stories of Sasquatch and its peculiar habit of throwing rocks at humans are a fascinating aspect of cryptid lore. While skeptics may dismiss these accounts as mere fiction or exaggeration, the persistence of such reports over decades and across various regions suggests that something unusual is at play. Whether Sasquatch is real or not, the phenomenon of rock throwing remains one of the most compelling mysteries in the study of this elusive creature.